All right. Far away.
Okay, well, I can't remember what episode it is. What episode are we?
It is episode 74. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to Random Thoughts.
Today I want to talk about... Well, I want to talk a little bit about the game plan for this business, which is an unusual thing to talk about.
Secret sauce a bit.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the internship as well, because that is integral to that game
The
plan.
heart of the game plan, really.
Yeah, it really
it's the
is.
bedrock. Yeah.
So you know this story, but I'll tell
I'll
it
just
as
sit back and listen.
because I think the context is valuable.
Yep.
So you might not know all of it. In 2000, I started training athletes in '99, and started really seriously having success, at the professional level, and gone to the WNBL stuff in 2003. But it really wasn't. And then in 2006, did my first international gig with the Australian Sapphires, the under 21 national team.
Silver in Russia?
Silver, undefeated except against America. And the Americans were massive, yeah. With a bunch of puppies who are now like Jenna O'Hay, Kathleen McLeod.
Some legit athletes.
But they were legit then too. But they're now like veterans. It's really weird. Like they were juniors and now they're grown-ups. So that was a while ago. But it probably wasn't until 2000, and I dreamt for a long time, but I want to have this ultimate gym, this amazing gym, and it wasn't until...
And I think heavily influenced by Mike Boyle.
I saw his stuff.
When I first met you, you were very much... That was the big driving factor behind that idea of a big flowing gym with lots of space and the college type setup.
Yeah. And but I'd sort of talk about it, and I'd say, if I had $1 million, I'd set my gym up this way. And then in 2010, I said, you know what? Maybe it doesn't cost $1 million to do it right.
It's like that brilliant quote. I think it's out of... Is it American Psycho? It's a Christian Bale character, and he goes, "When I get rich and famous, I'll buy a motorbike and ride across China." It's a vagabonding quote, and to ride across China.
When I get rich and famous, I'll buy a motorbike.
Once I get rich, I'll retire. I'll buy a motorbike and ride across China. You actually don't need that much money to ride a motorbike across China.
They're pretty cheap in China,
and the things in China are cheap. Yeah, the most expensive bit is getting there. But yeah.
I wish it was the equivalent of that to start this.
But it's a powerful thought experiment. Is what you're is like that. Yeah. Do I actually need $1 million?
Yeah, and in the end, it turned out it was $500,000, which is still a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
But yeah, so in 2010 was when the dream really started to take shape. Thanks in a long part to Rod Mason, who actually...
In many ways, yeah.
Yeah, I owe him a lot. Hi Mason family, if you're watching.
I saw them at the Nuttall and Kilsyth games last week.
Nice. Yeah. Great people. And he just sort of said, okay, how would this work? What are you going to do? Like, you kind of called me on my...
Yeah, like actually nuts and bolts it.
Yeah. But anyway, so when I started designing it, so I said, all right, I need a game plan. I need to do this right. And the goal was, from the very outset, to be the best in the world. And I want to be crystal clear, we are not the best in the world. And we've still got so far, and we may never achieve that. We might end up being only the 9th best in the world or the 20th, whatever it is. But the point is that the standard we hold ourselves to
is the best we can possibly be, which is the standard of the best in the world.
Yeah. And we've got great examples of that. You've got Exos, who are amazing.
They're probably arguably the standard, aren't they?
I think they're the gold standard. And I think Michael Johnson's facility, whose name eludes me, his stuff, their stuff's good too.
I'm not familiar with that one either. Darren will show me this after the show, and then I'll show you via the show notes.
It's some pretty cool
Michael
stuff.
Johnson's, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, the standard was best in the world. And so to do that, and that's a big, hairy, audacious goal. That's
lofty standards,
that's a big goal. And so the game plan was, well, to achieve that, what we need is an amazing staff. And I should give more context. My thought process was, I want us to be the best in the world. We have the best physios in the world. Our physios are so good in Australia and in Melbourne in particular.
Yeah. We are in the hotbed within the hotbed. Australia and Ireland seem to have the best physios in the world. Yeah. I always keep hearing brilliant Irish physios, but Australian physios, and then in particular in Melbourne, because it's such a sporting capital in the world, as they always call it, but there's so many good physios here with the footy clubs, the netball, and the Australian teams, the institutes. Yeah.
And I've always felt that the extent to which that you can collaborate as a strength and conditioning and athletic development specialist, the extent to which you can collaborate with physios is going to be a massive part because we learn so much off them, and
Yep.
it's a really good interaction. And then the other thing was our sports science in Australia is incredibly strong. Deakin University, where you studied,
where I graduated,
and where I'm serving on the advisory board to the School of Exercise and Sports Science.
And where
full disclosure,
and also more disclosure, where I'm supervising a honours student at the moment as well. So we're tied in tight.
Deakin is the #1 sports science university in the world, and so I thought, well, I couldn't have been more lucky.
Yeah.
But then the thing was, okay, well, that's great, but how do you get from there? And the thing was, #1, the game plan was design the best internship in the country, and try and make it the best in the world. That was the thing. Attract the smartest possible, keen undergrads into that program, and then spend 6 months developing them, mentoring them, and essentially teaching them what took me 25,000 hours to work out across a 6-month curriculum. And that was a thing that we put an incredible amount of work in. It took a long time. That's what got you in.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably worth talking about that just because so the game plan.
Your backstory.
Yeah, that's my backstory. Let's get yours, and then we'll get.
And then we can because they diverge around that 2014, 2015. Converge, sorry, around that 2014, 2015 mark. So I again thank you to Rod Mason and the Mason family. I am originally from the country, so I moved to Melbourne 2011, having a gap year 2010. 2011 for uni at Deakin. Did better than I expected in VCE, considering the amount of work I've put in. Sorry, Mum. And did quite well. They got a score that got me, instead of going to Ballarat to do sports science, which was the default sort of path for country kids, like stay close to home, it's the big city's pretty intimidating. Got this better, I was like, stuff it, I'm going to go to Deakin. Heard good things, checked out the open air, it was amazing. So I got into Deakin, went there, had a year off basketball, but then the second year I was like, I'm hungry to get back into sport.
Tell me about I'm curious about the scared of the city thing. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, maybe this is just a Portland thing. Maybe it's a me thing. I'm not sure.
You know, 'cause it's just I think I've heard you say I'm scared of a thing exactly once ever.
Yeah, it's just one of those paradigms that no one ever really questions. So when you're from the country, there's 5 streets in the town. You know them all. You can walk them all. There's no issues there. When you come to the city, there's lanes, there's hook turns.
So mostly driving. Is that the
and so that then extends out into everything by association. Okay. So and it's also like. You think of CBD, when you think of Melbourne, you instantly think of CBD, and you think of Flinders Street, suburbs,
right?
And you think of that. Whereas the suburbs, it's just 2-lane versions of Portland. Like, it's driving here is no different. Like it's just lots of towns put together as the suburbs, and you don't realize that when you're living in the country. You think like Melbourne and surrounds as just this big condensed gridlock. Okay. And so that fear of driving, that lack of knowledge and lack of awareness of it extends to the whole thing. So when you play against Melbourne sports teams as a country team, you get smashed.
Right, okay.
You play for Vic Country, I never did, but you play for Vic Country, or you play for Portland, and then you come to a tournament, you play against the Spectres threes, and you're like, oh, they're the threes, and they beat you by 30 points. And you just get written off the court, and you go and play in the Melbourne tournaments, you play against the Tigers, you play against, and you just get absolutely written.
So it just all builds to that thing.
And so the kids are bigger and they're more athletic, and so you just assume that they're all hostile, and it's just this hostile, aggressive environment. And then it's not till you move here, and the beauty of living on res as well, Deakin, is you're there with 200 other country kids, and you're all doing the same thing at the same time. And then you're like, hang on, the suburbs are just like small towns.
Yeah, right, cool. Okay,
so that's that.
So that was that. So first year went well. You worked
first
hard.
Year went okay. Went well, but I had a year off from sports. I didn't play any basketball. Just was in the gym and mucking around, stuff like that. Did some work at the Sandringham Zebras in the VFL, did sports training and stuff there, which was great. I was like, I've done the right degree. This is what I want to do. Something.
You knew it was.
I really like the strength coach there. I want to get involved with more of the running and fitness side of stuff and things like that. And then second year, I started trying out for a bunch of basketball teams. And I somehow, still don't know how I got the gig, but I got a gig with Nunawading in the youth league team. Back when it was D League. So back when it was literally the feeder programs at Seagull. So it was kind of like the loftiest league for junior basketball in under 23 basketball in Melbourne. I was like, oh, I'm a big shot. Sat on the bench, didn't play, but I still couldn't believe I got this spot with this team, and did, and then was great. And all those guys are still my mates to today, and love them all heaps, and love the club. But Rod Mason was like, oh, you're into strength and conditioning, you're into this. BJ was on the team too. We rode the bench together. He had an ankle injury, I had my shin splints. We were both in and out of the team for injury reasons. And then he said, you need to get onto this Durham guy. So November of that year, my second year of uni, I emailed you and said, hey, one of my teammates, BJ, comes to you. Here's my resume. I don't know if you've got anything, but just get in touch. you replied and said nothing at the moment, but I'll keep you in mind. And then, so nothing came of that. I then went to Oakley Chargers and did my actual 140 hours of
your required
my required practicum, with them, the ESSA stuff, and did that with them. But just as I was starting with them, you then called back and said, hey, we're starting a formal internship this semester. Are you still interested in an interview? And I was like, pretty flat out. I was hoping to go back to 901. Yeah, didn't know I was going to be cut yet. Hoping to go back to 901. Was busy with the Oakley Chargers thing. Thought that was going to build on, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, oh, not really. And then on the phone, you told me about the vision for this and so on.
So I gave you a short version of what I...
wasn't exactly short.
So just...
No, but
short versions, they're not my strength, are they?
Short version was like, the 11 minute, the really long elevator pitch. And I was just like the whole time I was just like, training basketballers, training soccer players, training footballers. Because I just thought, doing my sports science degree, I just thought you either got into a footy club, you went and did physio, or you became a PT. I thought they were kind of your three options as far as paid. And like you might do hobby work at the VFL or with the Victorian Football Association or like at a premier club in soccer or with the Spectres, something like that in a lower level. But I thought to get properly paid, you had to get to footy clubs. I thought that was the answer. And then when you were like, no, we're a private company, athletes pay us, kind of like a gym membership, but it's got more, it's got layers. I was like, yeah, sign me up, let's do it. And so I came to the interviewed horribly. I'll link that. There's a couple of videos we've made about that experience. I don't think we need to go into...
Can we just at least... All I'm just going to watch the video because it's worth watching.
We haven't actually... Because James and I were in that video. We haven't got your perspective on that interview.
Yeah, so it was really interesting.
Interview... Whatever if you can call it that.
So at the time, Rob Blinkhorn, who's now so Rob was our sort of head of education for some time.
Yeah, so he ran the internship before I then took over, and that's coming up in the story. But so you and Rob both interviewed.
Rob and I, and Rob's a fairly intimidating. He's big brain,
stern face, big words, smart guy. Yeah,
he's now got a undergrad degree from Deakin. He's got a master's in exercise science from ECU, and he's got a master's in physio from Canberra. So a lot of degrees. And anyway, intimidating dude. And you interviewed, and you were young.
I was young, and I really wanted it because after the phone call, I was like, oh, I didn't realize this was a thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden, my dream job had just been like, it's like you didn't know you wanted to do something in like the police force, but you didn't know the police force existed. And then someone said, oh, there's this thing called the police. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, I'll do that. That's what this was. It was like they'd invented this new job just for me.
And so Jacob was like, you were sweating.
Oh, it was in the middle of a heat wave. Just watch the video. It was in the middle of a heat wave. I was like, I shirted up properly and had worked out the morning before, and it was just, I'm a world-class sweater.
It was good that you'd shirted up. So a couple of things. The interview, you were very nervous, but the fact that you'd shirted up, you were very nervous and you were a bit arrogant. Like you didn't mean to be.
It's the worst combination. I think it's the worst combination.
But I think the fact that you dressed up a little as a mark of respect may have been what tipped it over the line.
Like I think I did a mirror selfie on Instagram. I was like, interview, pretty nervous or something. Something you do when you're 21 and you've got no idea about the world.
But you did the interview and sort of told us how you were gonna.
Yeah, I told you how I'd change your business.
And then we, sort of sent you out of the room, and Rob and I deliberated while you waited in the spin room.
Well, I sweated.
and we're like, it might be hard to reach. We'll give him a go.
Yeah, because I was right into powerlifting and stuff like that at the time, and I was lifting big weights, and I thought I knew everything.
Yeah. And again, it was one of the best decisions in the history of the business.
But it was only because there were only 4 total applicants.
Yeah, because it's literally the beta. It was like the first one, wasn't it?
It was 1.0.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what's interesting, 2 things. So you put good effort in, and you took a bet on a thing, and then a lot's come from that, which is great. And one of the benefits of the internship at that point, which is something we're working really hard to replicate. So we took this semester off from the internship and an opportunity to kind of rejig it and really look at how we can make it even better.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm really keen on reconnecting with, or one of the benefits I want to replicate better, was when you did it, it was so small that you just sat on my shoulder for 6 months. And you played a game, sort of a what would Durham decide?
What would Durham do in certain situations? Like I'm not sure. I think it's this. Go ask Durham. and then you would answer, and I'd get to fine tune and calibrate those answers and those guesses based on that.
And it's not just, and if people were to see the inside of the workings of our business, they would not. It's not the Durham show by any stretch. In fact, it's a very flat structure where you guys challenge, or where I challenge you to challenge me all the time. It's like constantly like that. So it's not. But when you're first learning the ropes,
as an intern, that's
what you want to do.
Different dynamic.
So that was incredibly good. We had 6 months of. How many did you miss? How many sessions?
0. I didn't miss. Give
us a minute.
I didn't miss a Saturday or Monday for the first 48 weeks, 46, something like that. And then I think I went to the snow.
And then we hired you straight out of the gate because it was like, you're gonna be terrific.
Because I took from that interview and from the feedback you gave me in the interview, I was like, okay, I've got some humble pie to be eating here. I actually don't know as much as I think I did. And then about a month into the internship, I was like, I got all these preconceived notions and these preconceived ideas I thought I had. I just had to start again.
Because it is almost like a boot camp sense of at the start, that first weekend of because boot camp is about, you have athletes come in from civilian life, and if you just said to them, okay, off you go be soldiers, that's not going to work at all. There is actually part of the rationale for all the Sergeant Slaughter yelling at people stuff is you're actually kind of breaking down people to rebuild them. Yeah. And we don't do that.
No yelling at all.
But there is a sense of not a repro. I don't know what the word is, but reorienting.
It's a coming back to fundamentals. Because often the sports science degree does a great job of teaching you a lot of breadth and touching on a lot of things, but it doesn't really go deep onto the whys and the underpinning theory behind things. So what we try and do is, we're specifically interested in athletic development, strength and conditioning, and the basics of rehab. Yeah. And so what we try and do is let's go a little deeper on those and underpin the whys that have led to certain things. Yeah, because certain results.
I think by definition, the undergraduate degree in sports science is a mile wide and an inch deep. And our thing is we are like an inch wide and a mile deep. We want to really go deep on understanding the specific things that we're doing. In terms of where to from here, what do you? So I think that us getting that sense of the mentoring side of it, where I really develop that so we get the same experience you got. That's one priority for me. Yep. You've rejigged again and again and again with the internship.
Yeah, so we are up to versions next semester, January 2018 will be, February 2018, sorry, will be 6.1. Yep. So iteration 6.1. So
do you want to explain? It's not everyone knows the iteration.
Yeah, so
software versioning.
Let's just talk about in terms of the internship. So Rob was the first one to write the internship. Do you want to tell that story? Because we sort of got to me in my internship.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the story about Rob ran it?
Wrote version 1.0, and we did it together. It was, like you and I do it. It's a collaborative thing, but he took the lion's share of the actual grunt work, and I just said, make it do this, and he did it. And it was really good. It was a great starting point. And we thought, as we're getting through it, this is great. We are laying a foundation for a decade. The core advantage internship. Then we finished it, and we both it's rubbish.
We hate it. Start again.
And so the 6 months of 1.0, and then all of a sudden we went straight to version 2. And we did version 2 where we tore it up, started again, rebuilt it.
I think that was James's internship. I think there was 7 or 8 interns in that one.
Yeah. Yep. And then we were like, this is going to be awesome. Next time it's just going to be 2.1, just some tweaking.
Yeah, so software iterations work in that when you look at an app and you get an update, a complete overhaul would be a new number at the start. Yeah. So 2.0 going to 3.0 is like a complete, they've changed the colors, they've changed the fonts, it's got different functions.
They've really changed the way the whole thing works.
It's a complete different user experience. Whereas a 2.1 they've added a feature, or they've changed this, or they've fixed a bug. 2.1.1 would be there was this thing where it crashed every now and again. They've got rid of that. So the more decimals you go, the less of an effect. So if you see a 3.0, it's whoa, this is a completely new app. This is going to be a new experience. So those are the ones you go, do I actually want this yet? I'm actually quite enjoying. Or if it's terrible, then yes, give me that. Yeah. So we went from 1.0, 2.0, then straight to 3.0.
Yeah. And so you'll notice a pattern here. We went to 3.0 and we're like, okay, we're putting in the hard work, but it's going to be really easy because we'll just go to 3.1 next time. And then we went to version 3.0, and then we went to 4.0.
Which one did I write first? So Rob then left us to do the physio course and moved to Canberra.
I think you did the first. I think you've done a 5 and maybe you did a 4, a 5, and And what are we going into now?
This is going to be 6.1. So there were a couple of iterations in here. So I'm not sure whether Rob or I wrote 4.
You know what, we're going to send people to sleep if we talk too much about the versions.
Either way, so there was 5, and then there was 5.1, and then 6, and now 6.1.
Yeah. So, in terms of the changes, there's the mentoring side of it, and I think it's now we're at a point where it's just iterating how we communicate, like separating, because there's so much you want to tell. You could do a 12-month one, and it's just working out what it is that's the you must know stuff, and because you want to lead with it. The biggest thing I find is that you want to lead with everything. Like when we look at the curriculum, you go, that has to go on day one. They won't understand this if you don't.
It's so interesting because so many things are in circles. And so many things, this influences this, which influences this. I
think you've done a really good job of it. I think the biggest test was this year. So this year, it was the highest pressure ever. So Deakin, the best sports science university in the world, had 2 faculty members come and do the internship as a form of...
One a current doctor.
One a current PhD.
And the other soon to be PhD.
As a professional development thing. And so that was the highest pressure ever.
Little old undergrad me.
But I think their input...
their feedback was great.
Both told us that we're doing stuff well and also honed us in on a couple of little things that we need to work on. We should talk... so I guess... that game plan.
So I want to talk more about the everything. You want to tell everything first. So we do the intensive at the start, the first 3 days, and that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like all day lecturing and practicals during that time. You get through it and you do those presentations, like you get off in these tangents, like no, come back, because you can't give tangents until you've got the foundations of the other stuff laid. But you have to, as an intern coming in, and hopefully future interns will watch this or listen to this, they come in and it's like, there's so much more to these first few days. You've got to be a little patient because we can't do a 5-day intensive and give you everything because you won't remember it. And so you get to, so we often get to week 6 or 8 and an intern on the floor and you'll explain, we're doing this for this reason. They'll go, now it makes so much sense. So you have to, it's kind of, you want to actually get on the floor and see some coaching, but you also want to get some theory. It's this delicate balance. And
it's a high cognitive load. One of our interns who we've now hired, if you'd said to me, I'm not going to, if you'd said to me we're going to hire her on day one, because it looked like she was having narcolepsy, like she was getting really sleepy. We're like 3 hours in, it was just because it's such a lot of stuff, because you're throwing right in the deep end.
And a lot of it challenges preconceived thinking.
Which I think is particularly cognitively, and not just I think, which we know
is definitely
a cognitive drain. We will be taking applications shortly for next semester.
Yeah, applications are live.
And so if you know someone that's suitable, to be clear, we don't charge a cent for it. It actually costs us money. But that's the game. That's the game plan for us. It's not about making dollars out of people coming in. We don't make a cent. It's about attracting the smartest people who can go on to be part of our team. And we don't. And fair warning, if you want to be a coach in strength and conditioning, you need to be able to display strength and conditioning. You need to be strong, fast. You need to be able to do chin-ups, jump, ply, sprint.
Robust.
And so we do make that a standard as part of the interview, is that you've got to actually demonstrate. Just in the same way that if you want to be, work in the fire department, you have to be able to pass a whole lot of challenges. It's the same story there. And the amount of people who come along to the interview, and we've warned them that, we've sent them an email, and then they say, I can't, I've got this problem. It's like, well, if you can't demonstrate stuff, you can't coach. And if you can't coach, if we don't think we could hire you as a coach, we actually won't take you as an intern, because we've only got so many spots, and we're a pretty rapidly growing company. So we need to keep those spots open. Except occasionally we'll take an international one, because it's great to have an international perspective. But that's kind of like our wild card. Applications open.
When are we closing those? Let's have that meeting in the podcast.
Soon. I don't know.
Interviews will be this side of the Christmas, won't they?
And we'll do that pretty soon.
Are we interviewing for both intakes next year or just one?
I have not decided that. Check on the website. By the time this is up, we'll have decided that.
And so I'll link to the internship page of our website. That's where you got to get all the details for the applications. Make sure you follow the rules and the instructions very closely.
We've clocked over 25 minutes. Does that mean that we've run out of recording?
No, it goes to 27. So it gives us time to wrap up. Yeah, we're all good. We've got a timer so that we don't run out of tape on the on the camera. I suppose that'll do then.
Yeah, that'll do. Hope that's been a little bit interesting.
Yep, some insights into what we do. The internship is really important to us, so we don't just take anyone. You've got to be good.
Got to be on it.
And hopefully, we'll kick it off again in February. I'm already kind of missing it a bit.
Yeah, me too.
Felt a bit weird this Monday not presenting.
Yeah, I miss it a bit. I like the extra time.
The extra time will be good, and also give us it'll give us a bunch of time to sharpen up the presentation.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, awesome. And as always, show notes down the bottom.
Michael Johnson's thing and the internship stuff.
Yeah,
awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Right. Cheers.